So in today's video, I'll be ranking all the swords in Blox fruits. Well, a few days ago, I actually made a video on devil fruits, like I ranked every single devil fruit in the game. And since then, a lot of people wanted me to make a video on swords as well. So here I am making this video. In this video, I'll be ranking all the swords from the first sea to the third sea. Also, I'll be telling you guys everything you need to know about the swords, whether they're good with their damage or they're known for their combos. So if you want to find out which are the best swords in the game, make sure to watch till the end. Also boys, let's try to hit 50 likes on this video, that would be great. And also while you're down there, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're super close to 15k subscribers, so that would be very sick. So yeah, I think without wasting any more time, let's get right into the video. So here we are in the tier list, and these are all the swords which are currently in game. Also, these are the tiers: best, good, decent, bad and trash. And all of these swords will be ranked in these tiers according to their power and usability. So I think let's start. So the first sword that we have on the list is actually Bicento. This sword is actually obtained in the first sea and has two versions. So we're mainly going to be talking about the second versions, since everybody awakens their swords or devil fruits. If we talk about this sword in the first and second sea, yes, this sword is very good. It has good moves which can be used for farming or maybe even PvP if you are just spamming them. But if we talk about this sword in the third sea, yes, it is very bad in the third sea, because there are a lot more better options than this. So because everybody is not in the third sea, let's just put this sword in the decent tier. Then the second sword we have on the list is actually Canvander. This is a late game sword that you can obtain in the third sea and is actually very powerful. This one is mostly used in PvP rather than in farming. If we talk about its damage, it has some insane damage and also has some combo potential. Especially if you guys are using this sword with some devil fruits which have some stun abilities, this sword becomes really OP. So yeah, this one deserves to be in the best tier. Then the next one we have is Dragon Trident. This one is actually obtained in the second sea, and I actually do not like this a lot. Yes, the moves are pretty decent and have a bit of AoE. AoE means area of effect for the guys who didn't know, but still I think this sword does not go any higher than good tier, because in the third sea everybody just likes to fly a lot. Like if you have fought in the third sea, everybody just goes airborne, so this weapon does not actually work in that state. But if you are in the second sea and you're trying to PvP, yes, Dragon Trident would be very good. Then the next sword we have on the list is the Dark Dagger. This one is basically a mini Yoru. Yes, I know the damage is a bit low, but this one is actually pretty good in my opinion, especially the first move that basically acts as a superhuman C move. And if you have like a stun based devil fruit, this sword actually works very nicely with that. So you can basically stun them with your devil fruit and then use the first move of this sword, and it's basically a guaranteed hit. Also keep in mind this sword has very low cooldowns, and I think it can be used in PvP very efficiently. Then the next one we have is Gravity Kane. Gravity Kane can be obtained in the second sea, and I'd say it is one of the worst swords in the game. The moves are similar to Gravity as mentioned in the name, but the sword is literally trash. The moves have super long startup time, so for example if you do a move, it will happen in like a year, so you're not landing that in a PvP match. So just keep that in mind and never use this sword. The next one we have is a dual Katana, which is like one of the starter swords in the game and is absolutely trash. It has no good use. The moves can't be used in PvP or even in farming, so you're better off not using it. Then the next sword we have on the list is actually Yama or Enma. This sword is actually very OP. It deals a lot of damage and can be comboed really easily. But the thing is, to obtain this, it's a bit of a hustle. But if you guys can obtain this sword, trust me, it is very OP. The moves are actually made for PvP, and yeah, it just goes with the flow. So I'd say it is like one of the best swords in PvP. The next one we have is Sabre, and this sword also has two versions. We're going to be talking about the second one. This sword is actually very OP and has one of the highest damages in the game. And if you know how to use this sword, you can basically land all of its skills very easily. And I'll suggest you guys to use a super good stun based devil fruit, like for example Doe or Dark or maybe even Rumble, because if your enemy is stunned in one of those devil fruits, trust me, you're dealing a lot of damage. So yeah, this one deserves to be in the best tier. Then the next one we have is the Hollow Scythe. This one is actually very good, and I think it is like one of my favorites as well. The moves can be comboed really easily, but the only bad part about this sword is the damage. The damage is just decent. It's not that bad and it's not that good. I think I would not put this in the best one because there are a lot better swords than this. But if you guys guys are looking for a decent sword to PvP with, I'd say Hollow Scythe is pretty good for that. Then the next one we have is Club. Club is actually very bad. This is one of the first swords you get in the game, and yeah, it is just utterly trash, so it's gonna go in the trash tier. Then the next one we have is Jite. This one is actually pretty decent as well, especially for the third sea, because people like to go airborne in the third sea, as I told you guys before, and this sword has some teleportation moves, so you guys can use this as like a side sword. You will be dealing damage from your devil fruit when you are using this sword, but this sword can help you guys travel in the air or even help you blind your enemies. So yeah, I think this one goes in a decent tier. Then the next one we have is the Katana, and I have nothing to say about this, so it's gonna go in the trash tier. The next one we have is Coco. This is a pretty underrated sword in my opinion, and is pretty good. Yes, the moves have some delay and it just feels a bit weird to use this sword, or I just feel that, but I think it is a pretty good sword if you are looking to PvP with. The next one we have is the Midnight Blade. This one is actually very OP. If you guys are looking to be comboing with your sword, like using it as your assisting sword, trust me, this sword is very OP. Keep in mind this one is very easy to obtain and is found in the second sea. The next one we have is actually Pipe. This one is really bad, so it's gonna go in the trash tier. The next one we have is Pole V2. This one is actually very OP. It has some stun capabilities, and a lot of people use this with Rumble, because Rumble stuns and this stuns as well. So basically you just stun your enemy to their death, so it's gonna go in the good tier as well. The next one we have is actually Pole, which is the normal version, and I'd say this one goes in the bad tier. It is not completely trash because its moves can be used in PvP, but yeah, it doesn't go any higher than bad tier. The next one we have is actually Rengoku. Rengoku is a really OP sword which has super high damage and really good combo potential. And the best part about Rengoku is that if you land like one of its moves, you're definitely landing the second one as well. So yeah, I think this one definitely deserves to be in the best tier. It is a top tier sword in my opinion. The next one we have is actually Sadi. Sadi is one of the legendary swords that you can get to obtain TTK, True Triple Katana. This one is worth 3 million in the second sea, and I'd say it is a very bad sword, or at least in PvP. Lots of people use it, but I don't like using this sword. And while we're at it, let's talk about Wando, which is its sibling basically, and this one is also worth 3 million and is basically obtained in the same method. It's basically a twin brother of Sadi, so it's just gonna go in the decent tier as well. The next one we have is the Saw Blade. This one is utterly trash and a lot of people use it for trolling, so that's why I'm not gonna be putting it in the trash tier, rather than I'm gonna be putting it in the bad tier. So yeah, the next one we have is one of my personal favorite swords in the game, which is Shi Sui. Shi Sui is just insanely OP, has super high damage and super good moves. The thing which I like about Shi Sui is that the moves are very fast. So if you guys know how to combo and you guys need to kill your opponent in like a few seconds, this sword is the one to go for. So it definitely goes in the best tier. Then the next sword we have is the Buddy Sword. This one is basically a rip-off of the Soul Devil Fruit. So if you guys are looking to get Soul Devil Fruit and you can't afford it, you can go for this sword. Mainly this sword is used for PvP, and I can understand why. The moves are basically the same as Soul, and they can be used in PvP very nicely. So if you guys are looking to PvP or anything like that, try to use this sword. Then the next one we have is Soul Kane. I love this sword. Trust me, I actually love this sword. It has a super good stun move which you can use if you have good aim. This sword can be obtained in the first sea for about 750,000 belly, I think so, and is just a super OP sword for PvP, and I'll definitely rank this in the best tier. Then the next one we have is Spiky Trident. This one is actually pretty good as well, and yeah, it has super good damage and also has really good combos. It goes really good with the devil fruits which can stun people, so if you guys are using a stun based devil fruit, try to use this sword. This sword requires some skill, so if you guys just lose lots of matches, yeah, you have to practice to use this sword, so just keep that in your mind. Then we have the really bad trident in the game, which is in the first sea. Yeah, this one goes in the bad tier. The only reason why I'm putting this in the bad tier is the pull move. You can pull your opponent with this and then do a combo, so that's why it's going to be in the bad tier. The next one we have is the triple katana, but this one is not the true triple katana. This one is the very bad one. This one is the one from the first sea, which is very bad, so it's going to go in the trash tier. The next one we have is the true triple katana. This one is actually pretty good, but I'd say I do not like this one. I've seen a lot of people use this in PvP, but in my opinion there are a lot better swords than this which you can use in PvP. So yes, I'm going to be placing this in the good tier, and also it costs like 12 million belly in total, so it's just insanely expensive. So yeah, the next one we have is Tushita. This one is extremely OP. It is basically a better version of Yama. It does a lot of damage and is really good in PvP. I'd say it is in the top 3 best swords for PvP in Blox Fruits at the moment. So yeah, this deserves to be in the best tier. The next sword we have on the list is Twin Hooks. This sword requires some aim, but it is a very OP sword for PvP. The moves have some decent damage and can be comboed very easily if you have good aim, so yeah, I'll be putting it in the good tier. The next one we have is Warden Sword. This one is not bad nor good, so it's gonna go in the decent tier. It is a first C sword, so you can't use it in second or third C because there are better options than this one. The next one we have is the ultimate sword of the game, and that is Gyro, also known as Dark Blade. This one is insanely OP. It can also be awakened. Basically, if you hold down the moves just like the Dark Dagger, the moves become more powerful and break Ken Haki, so it's really OP in PvP, and I'd say it is like one of the best swords for PvP if you are looking for that. But unfortunately, it is a Game Pass and in fact a very expensive one. So yeah, that basically wraps up the video. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button. That would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.